What is up, my dudes? It's all fun at Gym Zero, and today I want to talk to you about why I think speedrunning in Valheim is going to blow up massively. Speedrunning video games is a practice that originated in the 1990s with titles like Doom and Quake becoming popular amongst these newly forming communities. These days, popular speedrunning titles include the Super Mario platforming games and more recently, Minecraft. For those of you wondering what I'm talking about, speedrunning is a practice of completing a game or portions of a game as fast as possible. There are many different ways to do speedruns, even within the same game, and the rules and boundaries of each type of speedrun are determined by the communities that participate in them. The different ways to complete a speedrun, for instance with or without the use of glitches, are separated into different categories, each with their own leaderboards. As some of you are likely aware, speedrunning is in the midst of a renaissance on YouTube and Twitch. Minecraft and Super Mario 64 are at the fore, garnering tens if not hundreds of millions of views across both platforms. Nowadays, many of the biggest streamers in English-speaking Twitch regularly partake in speedrunning, competing with other streamers in ongoing rivalries or jostling for position to be the fastest in the world. Similarly, some of the fastest growth on YouTube and also some of the most infamous drama of the past year or so has centered around Minecraft speedruns, in particular Dream SMP. Needless to say, the popularity of speedruns is speeding away faster than you can run. Much like speedrunning, Valheim has absolutely blown up recently, but on a much shorter timescale. In the 3 or so weeks since the release of its early access, it has sold a whopping 4 million copies. 4 million. That's insane, but it is totally justified. It's a fantastic game, and it didn't take long for me and many others to come to that realization. I've already made a video of my first impressions, and you can click the link in the top right to see that, so I'll save the speech on why it's so good for now and just give you a brief rundown of the game for those of you who have been living under a rock and haven't yet had a look at it. First and foremost, Valheim is a seed-based, procedurally generated crafting survival game in which your ultimate objective is to progress through increasingly dangerous biomes whilst slaying the respective bosses of these areas. In many ways, it shares a lot of similarity to the features of Minecraft, but with a more fleshed out combat system and of course a Viking theme. Many have described it as Terraria meets Dark Souls, and I can see why. So now that we've done the what, let's move on to the why. Valheim as a game naturally lends itself to speedrunning, from the way the game worlds are generated randomly to the boss fighting system and the way in which you naturally progress through to each area. It is perfectly suited for speedruns. There are multiple objectives to aim for and a good amount of variety in how to achieve them, meaning there is a lot of scope for different strategies and methods to be devised by the community. There are also means to skip ahead of certain checkpoints and obtain items or kill enemies ahead of schedule, so to speak, which is of course a staple in speedrunning strategies. Much like Minecraft speedruns, there is the thrill born of the unknown elements, such as whether the first 2 deers you kill drop trophies or whether your random seed produces a world with optimal conditions or not. This aspect of randomness, almost akin to that of gambling, provides much entertainment for participants and viewers alike. Alternatively, one could opt to use a pre-selected seed to perform runs in a world that is a known quantity. Whilst this removes the thrill of the unknown, it allows for consistency when practicing runs and thus allows the runs to be optimised perfectly and glitches to be more properly incorporated into them. This is more similar to speedruns one might watch in Super Mario or Zelda games, in which there is little to no randomness involved as the speedrunner progresses through the same campaign each time. It could be summarised like this: the enjoyment from random seed speedrunning, such as that often done in Minecraft, often comes from happening across a randomly generated world that just so happens to have a perfect layout or an abundance of otherwise rare materials, and so on and so forth. In this type of speedrun, the skill of the speedrunner is to be prepared to make the most of these ideal conditions when they do occur. Conversely, a set speedrun, or a speedrun conducted through a linear campaign, like in Dark Souls or Zelda, is about discovering and perfecting the mechanics that shave off seconds off of the ever-decreasing time taken to achieve certain objectives. For instance, discovering a means to break through invisible barriers created by game developers, or perfecting complex maneuvers that allow a speedrunner to traverse obstacles far quicker than a casual player could. Valheim provides fantastic opportunities for both ends of the spectrum, with a solid foundation of features and mechanics that are set to expand and improve as time goes on. The more cynical amongst you may be wondering, if it's so good for speedrunning, why hasn't it taken off yet? It's a good question and understandable why you might think that, so I'll address it now. The speedrunning community for Valheim is fairly small at the moment. The competition at the top is definitely occurring in some of the categories, but as it stands it is a very small subsection of the Valheim community as a whole. There are a few reasons for this, first and foremost being that the game is still in early access. This is a pretty big deal for speedrunners, and big speedrunning communities such as speedrun.com do not officially recognise games on their speedrunning leaderboards until version 1.0 is released. The reasoning behind this is quite sensible, and it's quite an obvious one when you think about it. Whilst the game is in early access, there is no guarantee that features that are currently available will still be there when the game is released. Similarly, glitches and exploits that are key to speedruns today could be patched out of existence tomorrow. That is the primary reason that the speedrunning community for Valheim is currently small, with the other being an equally common sense answer. Namely, the game is really new. It's only been out a few weeks, and most people haven't even completed it normally, let alone enough times to start seriously figuring out speedrunning strategies. Despite this, there are still a dedicated few who can be found devising strategies and posting their best times. A small Discord community I found has been very helpful and provided me some really useful information to get me started on my own speedrunning journey. I've put the link to that Discord in the description below, with the owner's permission of course. I might add as well that the owner was the previous world record holder, and the current world record holder for killing the first boss also participates in the Discord. So if all of this sounds interesting to you, then maybe you should consider joining. I've been All Fun and James Zero, and I hope you found this short video about speedrunning in Valheim interesting. And if you'd like to see more content like this, hit the like button and let me know down in the comments below. Even if you think this video was shit, I'd still like to hear your feedback. Thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you around in the future.